in which they're asking for feedback. But it was a video about Republicans who are leaving the party, that they're saying there's a mass exodus from the party. And I imagine that's probably true. That's probably been going on for over a decade, right? A lot of us grew up in situations where our parents were Republicans, right? I did as well. Everybody above me in my family structure was a Republican. My grandparents on both sides, my parents. My mom apparently left the Republican Party sometime in the 90s, but didn't say anything to me or probably my brother either. Um, because there were two things that we were told growing up, which was you cannot talk about politics or religion in polite society, right? Grew up as Catholics. We were raised by Midwestern grandparents, and the Republican Party was very different in their generation than it is now, right? Like it was formerly. I mean, yes, they had this whole concept of this is family values and blah blah blah, but that was not like the main concern. When we talk about what conservative is, the original conception of what conservation was conserving our lands. That was the original concept behind this. And because my family came from the Midwest, they were a farmer family. Um, Having specific hunting rules and protecting national parks, um, being able to enjoy our public spaces together. These were things that were very important to conservatives back in the day. And now it's not. It's not. And quite frankly, the Democrats haven't been doing a lot in that regard either. Like making sure that we're not drilling in Alaska, making sure that wolves can be reintroduced to Yellowstone, right? Because the wolves almost got exterminated in the US, so they reintroduced them. The grizzly is on the California flag, but there are no grizzlies in California anymore. I'm not saying that I would particularly like grizzlies to be to be in California anymore because that's probably the scariest animal on the planet, but I don't think they should be dead, right? They shouldn't be extinct. So that was initially like when you go back to like Teddy Roosevelt, that was what they were trying to do, was trying to actually come up with a system of okay, well, how do we like manage the populations of these dangerous animals while at the same time allowing them to exist. That was a lot of what the Republican Party was doing back in the day. But in the last 20 years, maybe even longer. I mean, I'm 49, so I only have what I have, right? I only have my own life experience. Um, I mean, George W. Bush lied to us about a lot of things. And then when President Obama was elected, the Tea Party emerged. And they were so racist and so horrible. And that wasn't a part of, as far as I knew, I mean, at the time, right, I wasn't super political. I did what my parents did. And oftentimes I voted across the aisle too, depending, because for most of my childhood and young adulthood, I was told that government can't get shit done, which obviously that is not true. Otherwise, we would not have the society and infrastructure that we have today. So clearly, that was not true. But I was told that um, they were completely inefficient, and so we wanted to have as little government as possible. So, really, this wasn't even Republican thinking anymore. This is libertarian thinking. But it wasn't until they started doing these Tea Party things where they were lifting up some of the most racist imagery I've ever seen in my life. That's when I decided to switch parties. So it was around 2009. I voted for Obama in 2008 as a Republican. We still have people like so on the fence about whether or not they believe in one party or the other, and it kind of doesn't matter, because what you have to believe in is whether or not the person that you're backing is actually going to do what they say, and what are they saying, right? That's where it gets scary. But, the Republicans actually used to be the conservation party. They used to. They're not anymore. They call themselves conservatives, but they're not. They used to care about the environment, and they don't anymore. They don't. They used to care about. They used to be so proud that they were the log cabin Republicans. They were the party of Lincoln that freed the slaves. They don't care about that shit anymore, because they put all kinds of policies in place that hurt people of color. And they continue to do that, and they continue to demonize people, right? Constantly, all over and over again. Um, I'm injured, right? They don't like the disabled either. They don't like the disabled either. I was out there walking blocks for workers' rights, and I realized that even that organization was coming after me and just taking advantage of my labor. Never looking at my resume, never looking at the fact that I have some intelligence that I could have brought to the table, talking over me. And, you know, um, it happens on all sides. And that makes it very difficult to decide, like, well, if they're all going to be assholes, right? You're all going to be assholes. It's really hard to make the decision between asshole A and asshole B. That's why you got to have a strategy and a plan. And you have to actually start running for these party positions and take the parties over. You have to get in there and say, no, we're not going to operate this way anymore. We're not going to do this shit anymore. We're not going to let these fuckers take over um, just because they're getting donations from certain entities. Tonight there's going to be a vote at Anaheim City Council on a measure that's going to be great for hotel staff, hotel and concierge staff. But the people who walked that measure got paid $5 less per hour than what they're asking for those hotel and concierge workers. And they also got no benefits. They had no security protocols. None of the incidents that happen in the field get reported to OSHA. And their upper leadership is completely uneducated on workers' comp procedures when you do get injured on the job. They want to constantly exploit poor people to walk those blocks to advance the rights of their union dues paying members. And I think that if you're a union, you need to protect all workers, not just your union dues paying members. You should protect all of your workers, right? You should also give your campus staff the opportunity to unionize and have health care benefits and have protections in the field, a panic button, if you will. That vote's going to happen tonight at Anaheim City Council. But yes, Midas Touch. A lot of us actually started out as Republicans. I grew up in half of the time I was in LA and half of the time I was in South Orange County, and my family was Republican. And I left the party in 2009. So that's the answer to your question. There's no way I will ever vote for a Republican ever again. Never again. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. But at the same time, I'm looking at the Democrats around me and wondering, why aren't you protecting workers? Why are you exploiting labor? Why are you drilling in Alaska? I wonder these things. Like, why are you being so hypocritical? Why do you need to saddle up with the Republicans? Like you can't get shit done unless you concede to them? Really? You gotta fucking like give up the argument every time? We had the House, the Senate, and the White House, and still couldn't get Medicare for all. Thank you for that, Mansion and Cinema. We have all kinds of wolves in sheep's clothing acting like they're fucking Democrats. All kinds of them. Do more research on your candidates, and if you can volunteer, please do volunteer.